Imagine waking up one day to realize you're not just part of a family, you're part of a story that began thousands of years ago, with three men stepping off an ark into a silent, washed clean world. Shem, Ham, Japheth, three sons. One decision at a time, they didn't just build tents or cities, they built nations, and somewhere down that line, their choices shaped you. This isn't just ancient history, it's your story. And today, we're unpacking how our roots and decisions still ripple through time, whether we realize it or not. After the flood, the world didn't restart with chaos. It restarted with clarity, one family, three sons, and a divine instruction. Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth. But just like today, not everyone wanted to move forward. Some wanted to settle, to build their own idea of greatness. And that's when the Tower of Babel entered the story. Not just as a structure, but as a symbol. It started simple, a unified people speaking one language. They looked around and said, let's build a city, let's build a tower, let's make a name for ourselves. And in that moment, they forgot two things: who sent them and why they were sent. What began as unity turned into rebellion. What began as ambition turned into ego. What began as a tower turned into a turning point, because God wasn't interested in human pride stacking bricks. He was interested in human hearts fulfilling purpose. So he did what only he could. He confused their language. He scattered them. He turned their monument of control into a memory of what happens when we try to replace calling with comfort. But let's rewind. Let's go back to the sons. Because the dispersion didn't start at Babel. It started with three lineages. Japheth. His descendants spread across Europe and parts of Asia. Traders, warriors, philosophers, builders of empires. Ham. From him came the people of Africa and the Near East. Dynasties, kingdoms, complex cultures rich in art and politics. Shem, the line of Abraham, the line of faith, a spiritual legacy that would one day birth prophets, and a Messiah. So why does this matter to us today? Because in a world obsessed with where you're going, we rarely stop to ask, where did I come from? Not just biologically, but spiritually, emotionally, culturally. Our roots aren't dead, they're anchors. They remind us who we are when the world tries to rename us. They're not meant to keep us stuck, but they are meant to keep us grounded. And just like the sons of Noah passed on more than DNA, you and I are passing something on too. Every decision, whether you move forward or stay back, forgive or hold a grudge, build or break, it all echoes. What you normalize becomes someone else's standard. What you tolerate becomes someone else's struggle. And what you overcome becomes someone else's hope. Think about that. The people at Babel wanted to make a name for themselves. But the irony? We never even got their names. We just remember the confusion they caused. Meanwhile, the people who quietly obeyed, who scattered, who moved with purpose, even though they're not always named individually, their legacy is etched into the map of the world. Sometimes, the greatest impact isn't made by the loudest voice, but by the most faithful footsteps. And here's the thing, we live in a Babel-like generation. Everyone wants to go viral. Everyone wants to build something tall, something fast, something that makes them known. But height doesn't equal legacy. Fame doesn't equal fruit. The Tower of Babel stood tall until it didn't. Your choices today? They don't need to impress anyone. They just need to honor the assignment. Maybe today you're wrestling with your roots. Maybe they feel broken, painful, or forgotten. But broken roots can still lead to strong branches. You don't have to repeat what hurt you. You can rewrite it. Or maybe you feel lost in your decisions, unsure if you're building the right thing or going the right way. Here's the good news. Even if you've settled in a place you weren't meant to stay, God still knows how to move you forward. The same God who scattered the people at Babel is the same God who later gathered disciples. The same God who divided tongues at Babel brought unity through different tongues at Pentecost. He doesn't just confuse, he restores. He doesn't just scatter, he sends. And he's still in the business of calling people into purpose. What about you? What story are you writing with your roots and decisions? Are you building a tower or planting a legacy? Are you trying to make a name or fulfill your name's purpose? Because whether you realize it or not, your life is a continuation of a divine story that began with Noah's sons and still flows into today. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be aligned. Aligned with your roots, aligned with your values, aligned with the voice that called you to fill the earth, not hide in your comfort zone. So here's what I want you to do. Pause for a moment and reflect. What roots do you need to reconnect with? What decisions have you been delaying? What towers have you been building that are rooted more in fear than in faith? Drop it in the comments. Share your thoughts, your reflections, your turning points. And if this video made you think, made you feel, or made you curious, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to remember that where we come from matters, but where we choose to go, that's what defines legacy. Your roots are your beginning, your decisions are your direction, and your story, it's still being written. Stay faithful, stay grounded, stay moving,